probably the best setup guy in the game, or do you just figure you want a lockdown closer and take the chance that Greg can get the job done in the 7th or 8th and not give up the home run or the 2-run single or something like that?
Safe to say, until you acquire a Peavy, or if, let's say, my name, just Boston pitcher with the ankle.
Curt Schilling.
Curt Schilling,
the oldster.
Yeah, if Curt Schilling wants to come back, you talk about having 7 starters. Obviously, Aaron Heilman fits into that equation somewhere. What do you think of picking him up?
He's fine if you're going to use him as a middle-inning reliever, but I don't think Heilman would be a real good starting candidate. I know he started in the past, but he's very susceptible to left-handed pitchers, and the Cubs could do better than Aaron Heilman as far as a quality starter. Again, he's fine for increasing your pitching depth in the 5th and 6th and 7th inning, but to rely on Heilman as a starter, stretching him, the Cubs should have higher standards than that.
Now, I don't want to spoil any of the book unless you want to, so a simple yes or no will do here. Anything in the book on a potential rift between Piniella and Mark DeRosa?
Nothing in the book about a rift between Piniella and Mark DeRosa. There was no rift. Mark DeRosa was one of the more popular guys around the clubhouse, and if anything, Piniella might have played DeRosa too much. It was too much of a good thing. He was so versatile. He needed more rest at the end of the season, and DeRosa got tired at the end of both the 2007 and 2008 seasons. So any rift was a figment of one or two writers' imagination and falsely spread around.
As host of Diamond Gems, you touch on all of baseball, past and present, not just the Cubs. So I would be remiss if I didn't get your take on the fortunes of both the Cardinals and the White Sox heading into this season. First, the Redbirds. How much more can La Russa and Duncan do with so little?
They can get some other broken down or never will be type of pitcher and improve them, but that will help you to some degree. That will make you competitive. It won't put you over the top. Again, the problem here, whether it's a recession or not, is that Bill DeWitt does not want to spend in an elite level, and that's a disgrace with the brand new ballpark, which is packed every day. If he does not spend, he will fall behind the Cubs, because the Cubs in the post-Danny MacPhail era have ramped their spending up to a big market level. Crane Kenny, the Cubs chairman, said, "We're a superpower team in a division of middle market clubs." So that brands the Cardinals as forever doomed as long as the Cubs are spending their resources to trailing them. So they've got to upgrade their spending. Hopefully the Cardinals farm system, which has shown signs of revival the last year or so, will start producing some players, because if top management isn't going to spend at a level close to the Cubs, they're going to have to build from within like the Twins.
Let's go south side. Make or break year for Ozzie Guillen. How short is his leash with Kenny Williams, you think?
His leash is long, and his leash doesn't go to Kenny Williams, but it goes to Jerry Reinsdorf, who's the real executive general manager of that team. Now, Ozzie Guillen will be able to manage here for as long as he wants, provided he doesn't say something so outrageous and something so politically incorrect that they'll be forced to fire him. No, that World Series championship bought Ozzie a good 10 years with the White Sox, and they're in a position where they're bringing in young players with Jerry Reinsdorf's blessing. It's a part payroll thing and part Kenny Williams' philosophy that he feels he can evaluate young players properly and work them in the lineup. So Ozzie Guillen, no way is he in any kind of trouble, even if he has a mediocre season. In a mediocre season, they may still be in contention because that division is very evenly balanced now.
That's true. Quickly, a take on two teams in the Central, Houston and Milwaukee. What do the Brewers have left after CC, and is Houston on the way back?
Well, after CC and Ben, there's not much in that rotation. They're putting a lot of emphasis on Ivani Gallardo to come back. That's a very, very big thing to put on a young player. They're getting the ancient Mariner, or the ancient Padre, Trevor Hoffman, to close games, and I still trust him more than I trusted Mr. Gagne last year. That was a joke as a closer there. Yeah, they've got good young players, but again, the Brewers' problem now is they strike out too much as a lineup. They don't have enough of table setters at the start. So I thought that they might have been done well to trade one or two of their young players for pitching or for other commodities that they needed while, the Ricky Weekses of the world, while they still had an opportunity. Again, if the Brewers aren't going to spend, anywhere close to the Cubs, they're going to fall behind a superpower operation like the team in Wrigley Field. The Astros you asked about, they're on the outside, but again, if Drayton McClain, if Drayton McClain goes on one of his austerity kicks, that's going to be a problem. The Astros will always have some decent pitching. They've got some good power in Carlos Lee and Lance Berkman. But again, they're only on the outside as far as a contender. The Cubs should dominate the National League Central.
The book is Sweet Lou and the Cubs, A Year Inside the Dugout. It's on sale now just about everywhere, including Amazon.com and finer bookstores, we'll say. Of course, you can listen for George Castle and all those classic baseball highlights on Diamond Gems every Saturday morning during the baseball season at 11 here on Fox Sports Radio 810. Can't wait for the season to start, George.
Yeah, and if I could tell you, for you Cub fans out there, the second show of the year, the second weekend in April, we're going to have the famed opening day broadcast from 1969, highlights of the Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau game, won by Willie Smith, the most famous opener in Cubs history. Willie Smith's pinch homer in the 10th inning, and it'll be a great way to go back in time 40 years to one of the most memorable years in Cubs history.
Appreciate it, George. Thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me on, Paxton.
All right.